Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Flank. Man, I'm joined by Patrick Price, aka Aches. We got, of course, Chris Duarte, aka Parasite, and we got the one and only Mr. Benjay Nassim. And then obviously we got the three usual co-hosts, and we also got a special guest that's going to be joining us on tonight's Flank. The new look to Optic, Texas, the new rookie. Everybody welcome Dan Ghosty. Dan, what's going on, bro? Welcome to the Flank.
Yo, what's good, Tom? Thank you for having me, man.
Yes, sir, bro. You came on a couch, too, when we were, bro, what, he sounds like Tyler Fellow. He sounds like Fellow.
No, he doesn't sound like Fellow. That is Fellow.
No, it's not, bro. No, it's not.
I need an IP check, bro.
You know, Dan, shout out to you for, one, coming on, and you hopped on the couch when we were in Boston, too.
Yeah, thank you for having me then, too, man.
Yeah, 100%. It was a pleasure having you on. Where you at right now? You at the Hex quarters?
Yep. I got Kyler screaming eights callouts to the left of me.
Yeah, I can hear him. I can hear him yapping away. We'll get you going. We'll ask some questions. You know, it's Dan Ghosty who's echoing, but it's okay. We'll ask him some questions and we'll let him go on his way because Kyler's going pretty hard in the background there. How's it like being at the Hex quarters, bro? I mean, bro, you're a rookie. You were just playing in Challengers last week. Now you're in Texas, playing for Optic, Texas, and you're starting
honestly,
this weekend.
I've been just smiling ear to ear the whole day. I can't lie to you. I'm literally in heaven.
You're in heaven, bro. I mean, it must be a surreal feeling. Did you guys scrim today?
Yeah, we did scrim today. Scrims went well. We did not lose a hard point.
You didn't lose a hard point. That's good to hear. That's always good to hear if you didn't lose a hard point.
Yeah, it's always a good day, you know. It's always a good day.
Yeah,
we were having CDL account issues, you know, for our 2 p.m., but it's all good. You know, we got it handled.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. I mean, what's it like teaming with people like Dashy, Shotzi, Hook? I mean, these are like well-known names, bro. Is it different? A different bit of pace? What's the difference between Challengers and scrimming today? You notice any difference or no?
I could definitely say like everything moves at a faster tempo. Like in Challengers, you have more time to like break and stuff, whereas you know, Pro League, like you kind of have to do everything real fast, or else you're getting punished.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what it is at the pro level, right? Like, if you make one mistake, you'll get punished for it heavy.
Yeah. So
it's just like cleaning up and being perfect, and usually the team that makes the least amount of mistakes is a team that goes off and win. But I want to get the floor to Ben, Chris, and Pat. I mean, we got Dan Ghosty in here. This guy's a rookie. He's coming in. What were your initial thoughts with him coming into the roster? And if you have any questions, ask away.
Do you miss Doug? Censor Martin.
Doug is my goat. Yeah, absolutely. Miss Doug every day.
That's good gas. That's really good gas.
Adorable dogs, the hot tub, the jet ski. I mean, you can't forget the jet ski.
Oh, yeah, you lived with him, didn't you?
Yeah, I lived with him over the summer for Vanguard, yeah.
So is Doug just like the rookie mastermind or what? I saw like a post where he played with who? Dashy? And then Optic took Dashy, and then he played with you, and then Optic took you, and then there was somebody else. Wasn't there another player that Doug played with? That eventually somebody got picked up, or am I thinking wrong here? Formal. It was Formal? Doug was playing with Formal?
He did on Phase Red way back.
No way. Yeah, that was in Ghost. That was in Call of Duty Ghost.
Or Phase Black, I think. Or
oh,
whatever.
and Beans too. Beans is another one. That's crazy, bro.
I think Doug's effect is when you play with Doug, bro, Doug just soaks up the objective time so people can just go rogue and they just look like superstars. It's pretty nuts.
So, Ghosty, who's your first matchup? Do you know?
What, for the CDL?
Yep, for the CDL.
I think we play LAG first.
So what's it like, man? You're going into a pro match. You're gonna be a starter. You got any butterflies? You excited? What's going through your mind right now?
I'm obviously pretty excited. I'm more annoyed that we don't play like more tournament COD, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Nah,
I agree.
Challengers.
Yeah, like in Challengers, you're literally playing a tournament every single week. Whereas like, you know, I'm playing 5 matches before a major, and
It's ass.
It's so hard to catch fire for sure.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Dan, I wanted to ask you some questions. I wanted to just basically, well, I wanted you to ask a question, but what's like, what do you think, like, for the people watching, obviously that don't know much about you, like, what do you think, like, you bring to the table that that your current team needed? Like, because I have some ideas, but I want to see what you have to say.
Well, in terms of comms, I feel like I have some really good comms that I can bring to the team. I'm pretty vocal, and I've kind of been leading, but not in like the sense of like telling people where to go, just like more dominant in the comms, you know, because, you know, I'm cracked, so to speak.
I'm cracked.
But like I still have that pop-off potential if you need me to like drop a 2.0 in a map. But
Have
I
you
don't
guys-
I don't mind
sorry,
taking
yeah.
a step back with the team that I'm playing with. Like I'm literally playing with gods.
Yeah. Have you guys scrim search at all? Have you been? Are you the sniper?
We scrimmed a best of 11. I will not say who's sniping. Just know it'll be
Jesus.
Good
fun.
answer. Good answer.
Guys,
Just know it's fun.
can't be giving away strats. I respect it. I respect
I
it.
think on the stretch fronts as well, Dan, like, a lot of times when someone like your end comes into one of these teams, there's a little bit of knowledge sharing going on. There are certain things that you've learned on the challenger side in terms of hard point that your teammates didn't really know, and you've kind of helped them progress in certain areas and certain situationals, or has been more absorbing on your end?
I think it would be. I would say it's more been a give and take relationship. Like there's actually been some things that I didn't know that we should be doing, and now that I've implemented into my game, I feel a lot more comfortable. And there's also been some things and angles and like positions to block and stuff like that that they weren't aware of, that now that they are, I mean, we've been frying.
That's good. Yeah, because I think when Dashy asked me about like players and stuff like that, I really said that you're basically like a fucking human radar when it comes to like the hard point spawns.
Dude, JP asked if I was hacking today, and I'm like, dude, I'm here. I'm literally at the facility.
Yeah, that's good. That's good gas.
It's always good gas if people think you're hacking. But yeah, how did that work with you, Chris? I know some people reached out to you. I know you were talking about it a little bit, but were you a big part in the Dan Ghosty pickup, would you say?
I don't think so. But I mean, people already know I do what I can to speak out for the challenger players, and Dashy approached me with like just questions about like some of the challenger players. I gave him a list of a couple players to look out for. I'll say the list just in case anybody was curious. I told him for the AR players, obviously Dan, Pander, Fellow, obviously Beans. Those guys were pretty much stand out. I can't remember it completely. And then the SMG players said Yuli, Too Real, Fire, Dak, and then I can't remember who else I said, but those are a couple of the names that have just been playing really well that stood out to me. And then he started kind of like asking a little bit more questions about Dashy started asking a little bit more questions about Dan, and that's when I kind of like, you remember when I put in the chat, I was like, oh my god, what is going on here?
Yeah.
And then I just tried selling him. I was just like, dude, this guy is disgusting, really, because I mean, dude, me and Dan are friends, and I respect the fuck out of him. I think he's a really good player. And I was like, yo, this guy's got good comms. He can snipe. I was basically telling him like, yo, everything Ender's doing for your team right now, he can kind of do better. And that's when I had my suspicions that he would maybe get an opportunity. So.
That's good gas from Chris. That's
Chris.
really, really good gas from Chris Duarte, aka Parasite. Ben, any questions you have for Mr. Dan Ghosty?
I do, Dan. So obviously you just moved to Texas. Like, are you staying in an apartment? Are you staying in a hotel? Like, what's your living situation?
Currently, I'm in a hotel, and then we're looking at apartments right now.
Okay. So they're trying to get an apartment before like Major 3 starts, basically.
Yeah, so I'm like all situated and stuff, so we can actually have not saying that the practice that we're having isn't quality right now. Just I'd be more comfortable, obviously, in an apartment, not a hotel.
Right. No, 100%.
Are you excited? Are you excited to play at your first major? On top of that, with the green wall behind you,
wall? Yeah.
That's actually crazy,
That is
bro.
crazy.
That's fucking nuts.
I'm real excited. I was talking about that with Hector today. I'm real excited.
Ghosty, I got a question for you. How did you get into COD? Where did it all start for you? Did you play COD at a young age? Did you play it casually?
Yeah, I first got into COD. I played all the campaigns up until MW2, and then MW2 came out, and I bought Xbox Live. I actually think I got it for Christmas. So that's when I started getting into it. I started watching Comp and BO2, like a lot of people, obviously. Started playing GBs and Ghosts, and then AW, obviously. Very good at AW. 18+ rule happened, and I took a hiatus just for personal reasons outside of the game,
Yeah, of course. And then you just kind of grinded your way through, just had some fun with it.
Yeah, came back fully like halfway through Cold War. My first full year was Vanguard.
Bro, Kyler is going crazy in professional H right now.
Bro,
he's going nuts.
Different, bro.
Yeah, he must be cracked right now, because I just tuned into the first series and they were twisted in there. People have been going really hard in H. We're gonna see you in H one of these nights, maybe with the stream up.
Yeah, well, that's the plan. After the flank, I am looking to stream some 8s.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
There you
Optic
go.
Ghosty, yes sir.
That's
I was
done.
gonna.
That's nice.
I want to ask you some questions about school, because a lot of people obviously like did their research on you. They're like, oh my god, this guy's still in school. What's that situation like right now? And then on top of that, like, how's it been like competing full time while doing school? Like, how the fuck have you managed that? Because at least outside
That's hard.
Yeah, especially playing at like a pro level. Obviously, you're now in the pro league. Like, I think the only player that has been did that as well was like Slasher. He was also in like robotic like engineering or some shit like that.
Yep, robotics engineering. Yep.
Yeah. So what's all that been like for you, and like what's the situation now with that? Like what have you been studying?
In terms of situation, so I have a couple options. I can transfer to a new school obviously, or I can underload and just take online classes, but take like a smaller amount and still get my degree. But I would just take school for a longer time. But I don't really mind because I only need 36 credit hours. So like a normal semester, just to put you in perspective, is like 15 hours. So I'm literally 2 semesters and 6 extra hours away. So I'm pretty close to it. And then in terms of managing, honestly, you just gotta want it. Like, can't lie to you. Gotta get the homework assignments done by the due date. You know you got tournaments coming up. Like, you know the work that needs to be put in. So you do it.
Damn, that's actually hard, dude. That's impressive.
It's hard,
like,
man. Listen, if I joined Optic Texas at your age, I'm dropping out, bro. If I'm gonna be honest, I'm probably.
I may take this semester off, but I'm gonna take probably like 2 classes every 3 months, give or take, and end up getting my degree in a couple years. Because I still want to get my degree. I'd be the first in my immediate family to do so. So I kind of want to do it for more so of a pride thing at this point.
Wow,
that's dope.
That is dope. That's really, really cool. And yeah, I mean, Austin's a really good person to look up to because he's somebody who's gone through it and somebody who's done that. And that's really hard to do, man. I mean, I was going to school when I was first getting into it, so I know how difficult it actually is. So kudos to you, bro. Kudos to you. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. I appreciate that.
Yeah, bro. We're definitely gonna be catching you on stream for sure. We're gonna be tuning in and watch you play. We're gonna go into your roster a little bit. You're more than welcome to stay for the rest of the show. We're gonna go through all the rosters and stuff. But I know if you want to dip out, go do some other things, you're free to do whatever.
Play some 8s,
Yeah, do whatever you want to do. But I just want to make sure. Does anybody else have any questions to ask Dan Ghosty, the new guy in the block?
I'm good.
It's like what? Maybe say some words to Mr. Dan Ghosty, Rookie of the Year. He's coming in from Optic Texas.
He's thinking scrappy for sure.
I mean, that is literally fellow.
Bro, is that all you have, Pat? That he's
Are
Tyler
you still
fellow?
Pat, that I might be Tyler.
That's fellow.
Wait, where are you from,
make you feel
Dan?
better if I'm from Chicago originally, and then I moved to a west suburb when I was 7, about 45 minutes west. And I moved like a bunch of towns since then. Basically 45 minutes to an hour west of Chicago, give or take.
If he would have said PA, I would have started laughing, bro. I would start crying. If he was the same as Tyler fellow. But yeah, bro, no, I really thank you for coming on, bro. It's really nice of you.
Man.
No, thank you so much for hopping on. And bro, I wish you the best of luck, man. I'm really excited to watch you play. I've heard a lot of good things. I've seen a lot of good things, and I wish you nothing but a good career, brother. Good luck to you. And
thank you so much.
And keep that positive energy. Keep that energy you got, because you got a good energy about you. So good luck to you, man. Good luck, man. Thank you for coming on, bro. For real. Thank you again.
No, thank you guys for having me. Seriously.
Later, brother. Take care. Enjoy your
out, bro.
race.
Have some fun.
Thank you guys. All right, enjoy your night.
Peace out, man.
Have a good flank.
Yes, sir. Thank you, bro. Definitely gonna have to tune in to Mr. Dan Ghosty after the show. Man, what a good kid, huh, man? Good kid. Got a good head on his shoulders, man. Yeah, 100%. I think Optic got a good one here. They got a good one for sure, man. I'm really, really excited. He was in 8s a few nights ago, and he was popping off. And if they didn't lose a hard point today in scrims, it sounds like things are going over there, going pretty good over there in the Optic camp. But Pat, let's go to you. Let's start things off. What do you think about this new look to this Optic Texas roster? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think they made a mistake, or do you think they made a good decision here?
I don't hate the move, Tom. But I don't think they're done. Personally, I still think they got more moves to make. I think they're still browsing. I think there's still a pack-a-punch opportunity available here. And I think one more person might be on the chopping block. I don't hate the Ghosty pickup. I think it's a fine pickup. Guy was obviously frying in challengers, but yeah, I think there's still a move to be made if this Optic team wants to be where they think they should.
You wouldn't give him some time and see how it goes, Pat? Just see how it goes. They make one change, maybe give it a little time now, see how it affects the roster, and then maybe make.
We can do that, Tom, but I can call this one from a mile away. I think there's another change that still is going to happen before the year's over.
Yeah, I think I see your reasoning and your potential, or your point, I guess. But I mean, these guys placed 4th with their last team, and at least from talking to some of the players, they didn't drop Ender strictly off of his performance. There's definitely some internal issues there as to why they felt like they essentially, even if they barely lost and they could have maybe placed better, they just felt like the reason they made the move was because they just felt like they couldn't win with their current team. And they felt like they needed something to elevate them because, like, although they made a decent run, they felt like some of the maps that they played were just like they shouldn't have been as close as they should have, and they were kind of like missing something from their roster. And I think at least from what like I told them, and like probably others did as well, they felt like Dan, I guess, was able, like, had the potential to bring that to their team. So I mean, we'll see how it pans out. I know Hook, I know you're probably mentioning Hook. You probably don't think Hook will be on that roster because he's kind of, you know, the one that stands out from that, you know, from that camp. We'll see if he starts to play better with their current team, at least statistically. But I mean, dude, I think the way Hook has been playing, at least with his like pressure and playmaking ability, regardless if he's going positive, I don't think it's hindering them in any sense, Pat. So, but at the end of the day, time will tell. So,
what do you think, Ben?
First off, Pat, we're stealing that browsing phrase. I think that's a very we can recycle that because I agree with you. I think, you know, Danford Illy solves some of the slaying or consistent slaying considerations they've had at that AR position for a while. But I do think in regards to especially their sub duo and specific to Hook, I do think that his spot on the team is not potentially a permanent one. And he played okay during stage 2, but I do think that if he continues that level of performance again, I think there'll be some questions. And, you know, they got to make a difficult decision. Like, there aren't potentially a lot of obvious SMG pickups out there. Do they want to go and dip into challengers for 2 players? Like, are they willing to pay the buyout of someone in the CDL world? Is Seattle willing to potentially reduce their price for Pred and they get him now and get him on an extension? Like, those are questions depending on how they play during this Major 3 cycle.
Yeah.
But I think for Dan, I think helping them develop their respawn a little bit more, especially their map pool, I think is a really good pickup. And you heard what he said in terms of certain things he teach the team and how they're playing a respawn. They have a really tough Major 3 cycle. So if they can add a few hardpoint maps in, the 2 that they're good at now, I think they'll be set.
yeah, no, I agree with you, Ben.
Yeah, I think it's fair to give him some time and see how Hook meshes with the new squad. He's a great player. It was just the decision making that not only from him, both the subs, right? Just little decision makings, a lot of little mistakes. Some mistakes, very big mistakes that people have been talking about now, right? A lot of people are memeing the Optic ladder now. They're calling it the ladder. Watch the ladder. You know, it's things like that if they fix, I mean, I definitely think they had the talent to be a championship caliber team. Well, I think we should give them a little bit of time here, and
100%.
then, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens after a few weeks of play.
One thing that I wanted to mention is a lot of people had this misconception that like Illy was kind of like a vocal leader for the team, and whenever you would watch them, at least like recently, I don't think that was the case. I think it was all Ant for the most part, Shotzi. Shotzi was always very loud in the comms, and I don't think people realize how difficult it is to kind of micromanage and like what is it called, like just be the initiator as well while like doing that sort of thing. So I think this kind of takes the load off of Ant. I think there's even some posts on Reddit saying how Shotzi's overrated in a sense because he doesn't put up like these crazy SMG stats that like some of the other SMG players do. But I think to his point, the impact that he has on the team and the pace that he plays, for him being able to like have that level of communication and play at that level is very fucking difficult. Like, I feel like it's a lot more suited for when somebody, you know, for somebody with an AR. And I think it definitely helps them that Dan is on the team if he's able to bring those intangibles that we were talking about earlier. So
Right.
I expect Shotzi to play at least a lot better on an individual level this split.
Are we forgetting that Hugh rotated at 55 seconds?
No,
that
not
was
forgetting.
a rotation. That was a bonehead play, but regardless, dude, like the thing is though, Pat, when communications are like really fucked, and like I said with
Chris, hold
with
on.
Ant
Before you
leading
go on
them
this
to a
point.
sense.
I don't care. I don't care what is being said in the comms,
but I'm
bro.
saying like
I'm
saying it's harder to make decisions on an individual
Disagree.
level when stuff like that happens.
I mean, Chris, but
not saying that is a direct catalyst of it. Like, I'm not making an excuse for it. I'm just saying it is difficult to do. And I feel like having Dan will help minimize those issues a lot.
Unfortunately, this level, Christian, like I know people keep coming in my chat and your chat as well, Tom, and saying like, "Oh, why do you guys keep bringing up this play? Why do you keep fixating on this play? Like people make mistakes." The problem is at this level, in
Don't
those
make mistakes
environments, you
like
can't
that.
make those mistakes. That is just that's how you lose maps. Because to what Dan said earlier, at this level, teams are so quick that they just instantly punish you. With Kyler not picking a middle there and going in that full pinch through P3, the other team was able to FRUD the bottom side of P2 and get in the hill, and he was sort of out of the play and spawned the team out. Like that's just the issue there, you know.
The problem that I have with a mistake like that, Ben, is that is literally the like J.R. Smith game 1 finals mistake. Like that's just something that you don't make at that level of play. Period. Like you don't make that mistake.
You just can't. And we talk about how and with Zaba team, the big thing is going to be discipline, and matching sort of what we see from teams like Minnesota, FaZe, and Thieves that are really organized in how they execute their system. I think Optic hasn't yet really defined deeply the system that they want to play in Respawn. I think with Dan in, they'll start to make really big strides for that during this major cycle. But I think that's the biggest thing they got to work on over the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Optic Texas roster moving forward, but it seems like from the general consensus that we all think the roster change was pretty much a W. Like, we might see some more changes, but I think the Dan Ghosty pickup, seems like everybody was on board for that one in here. So does everybody agree with me on that one? Everybody's pretty on board with Dan Ghosty. I'm excited, really excited to watch him play. I'm sure he's going to turn on the stream. We'll tune in after the show, but let's hop into the next roster. Another change came in during the weekend or sometime today. Let's take a look. It was Beans moving to the starting roster for the Boston Breach.
Not confirmed yet, by the way. Actually, they did confirm. I'm sorry.
No, it's confirmed. It's official.
Today. Did you watch the video today, by the way? It was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was a funny video, funny announcement. If you guys haven't checked it out, go to Boston Breach's social. But Beans coming in. A lot of people knew he was on the sideline. From the beginning of the year, people were saying that this guy was going to come in at any second. He's been making a lot of noise in challengers. He's obviously a very talented player. He reminds me a lot of Scrappy the way he plays. A super Eagle Chow, snappy AR type of play style. Chris, why don't you talk about him a little bit? Because I know you're that guy when it comes to challengers. Where'd this guy come from? How's he been performing? And is this guy going to elevate this Boston Breach roster?
Well, I'm pretty sure he got a start in Vanguard where like he started to play on a really good Toronto Ultra European team. I know what's called Krim was on the show talking about he was gunned by him even though he didn't play him somehow. But I mean, that's kind of where he got his start, and that's where he ended up getting signed by the Boston Breach as an academy player in the offseason. But in terms of what this guy brings, personally, this guy gets very loud, he gets very amped up, and he gets people going. Like when he gets hyped up, you hear it, right? And I think that's going to be good for Boston because traditionally, I feel like a couple of those guys are kind of quiet. So being able to get the energy up will definitely help. And in terms of what he brings, I think he's a very good search and destroy player. And I think that's where Boston kind of need that help, right? With their game 5s and then being kind of like a little bit more like 50-50 in their game 2s. I think their respawn has been pretty good, but their S&D has been lackluster in their game 5 icing. On top of that, he's a sniper. A very good one. I've been victim of his sniper many of times in Challengers and Challengers Elite. And I think that's going to be good for their team because it's going to free up Vivid from having to take that role in certain aspects of the game. So I'm excited to see what Vivid can do in Search and Destroy when he's not tied down to sniping in a couple of rounds. And Beans is very good at search. So I'm really hoping that he does good. Because they need a player like him. If he's playing to his full potential, he can bring a lot.
Chris, all I'll say is like their issue is like if you look at the series they've played this year, like they've been fine in game 2. They have some bad S&D maps like Mercado that they need to improve on. I think bringing in Beans will give them more confidence in some mid-map play that they were really scared of the 2 times they played during stage 2 and then did stop playing it. It's just a game 5 issue. And I think to your point, Beans coming in and maybe making himself sort of the emotional center of the team and kind of dragging this team into, experience and winning. And then the other guys will kind of get into it. I think might be a really welcome addition to the squad. They already have a lot of talent. And if he can kind of help round out that sort of closing issue they have, they're going to suddenly become an extremely dangerous team in this league because of the talent they have and how good they are at Respawn.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree.
What do you think about Beans coming into the Boston Breach roster?
I think they'll get better for sure. But I don't know if it solves their ice issue, Tom. I think their ice issue is still mostly on the other three guys. Obviously it's a team as a whole, but I think the other three guys were definitely a part of that icing issue. To me, until I see them win a game 5, I don't know what to think with this team. I think it is an upgrade to their roster as a whole. I think Beans is just objectively better than Methods, but we'll have to see if their game 5 issues is fixed.
Yeah, obviously their biggest problem is just the ice clutching up. So we'll see if Beans can make a difference there. Obviously, he's a good player. Got a couple new looks to some of these rosters, man. We're excited to watch Ghosty. We're excited to watch Beans. Another team I wanted to talk about was the rumored, right, Ben? Florida Mutineers. It's a rumor right now.
I actually have something for you guys for this.
Sure, Pat. What is this?
Let's see Pat's meme du jour.
Dude, what?
Jesus
Is this a slideshow? This guy's got a slideshow for us? No way, dude. No way.
It's a gift, dude. It's a gift, dude. Oh my god.
Wow, dude, Pat. Anyway, so the rumored Florida team, as reported by Jacob Hill last week, is that Brack and Havoc are staying on. Vickle is moving to the bench. They obviously released Dave Patty. They announced that I believe yesterday, and then coming over from some challengers teams is going to be Tyler Fellow back in the league, and who did I miss?
So it's so I got it right here. It's Tyler Fellow, Capsule, Brack, and Havoc.
Yeah. So Cap coming over after that stint on the LA Thieves, kind of bench substitute role, filling in for Ken. He obviously played really well, so his stock went up. And Cap comes in, and I think for Florida, I'm curious what you guys think, but these are good moves. I think Capsule could be a very interesting piece to build around. We talked about players with takeover potential, and he's one of those guys who was doing it most as recently as a couple weeks ago. And Fellows, I mean, stints in the CDL have been mixed, but with Mike Major Maniac on the way out complaining about, I think, the culture of this team, that's something that Fellows really good at, teaching people how to win. So this might be a good addition, but I'm curious what you guys think about this rumored squad.
Well, I think Capsule is always good to look at because he came in for 100 Thieves and he looked good coming in off the bench, coming in cold and kind of just getting thrown into a system. He came out and fried, and I know he's been doing that in challenges as well. I actually was a big fan of him when he was playing for the Boston Breach and Vanguard. Felt like he kind of got the shit end of the stick there and kind of, lost his spot. And it is what it is. He ended up just grinding his way back through challenges. So I'm excited to see him come back because I think he's going to make a lot of noise. They obviously brought Brack back. Not really too sure why they were bouncing Brack around because initially when they had brought Brack when they took him to the bench, his stats are pretty high up there. He's playing pretty well. I know some people were saying maybe it was the impact or maybe it was something else going on. So I thought that was a little interesting to see Brack in the roster. And I'm also really excited to see Fellow play because Tyler's been that guy in Challengers, man. It just seems like wherever Fellow is in Challengers, there's success around him.
Yeah,
and
100%.
I think that says a lot about him as a player and as a leader and everything that he brings to the team. Because he's a very vocal player, very vocal player, very aggressive, likes to chow, very confident. I think Tyler Fellow can bring a lot to these guys. I definitely think the Florida Mutineers upgraded here. What do you guys? What do you think, Pat? Let's go with you.
Did they release Vickle? I know they released Dave Patty. Did they also release?
No, he's on the bench.
Okay, so they kept him on the bench. Yeah, I think Fellow deserved this opportunity. I hope he makes the most of it. But I mean, as sad as it is for me to say, I just don't know if this team can break into like the top 8. I think they're probably better than they were. I like Brack being back, but I just don't know if this is enough. I don't know if they picked up enough talent to break into the top 8.
I think picking up Cap is one half of that. I think Cap still truly could be like.
Listen, the problem with Cap is like, what do we?
Can I finish up, please?
Interrupted me and then asked if you could finish. Hello.
Yeah, because I was mid sentence and he was coming off, but.
I was talking first.
But Cap, listen, to answer
this guy's insane.
To answer your question, I think Capsule is a good takeover player. I think Fellow, obviously, from a slaying standpoint, is mixed. But
I saw that, right?
Pat, I'm curious what you think about this. Like, when you're in a situation like this team where your talent maybe doesn't stack up to, say, Optic, Atlanta FaZe, LA Thieves, the way that you can counter that is by getting ahead, having really good organized teamwork, and really being disciplined, executing your system. Do you think Fellow can come in and maybe build that kind of culture there?
I mean, I think he can try, but this is a talent league. Like, I think his attitude will be beneficial, but I still think we're in a league where like if you don't have the talent, you just nothing you can do.
Yeah, I don't see a world where this team is all of a sudden just like rising the ranks. I do see a world where this team is going to make improvements, but I think the majority of this team's issues is their systemic issues. I mean, Major Maniac literally came out and basically said that people were being selfish on the roster and people weren't buying into, whatever they were trying to get going. And one at least this is like outside from an outside perspective, like Vickle, for example, he's the one benched. But whenever I play with Vickle and whenever I play like against him, like I just feel like he's an actually really good player. So that kind of like leads me to believe that a lot of the things that is going wrong in that team is purely systemic. It's one of those things where people are lacking discipline or people are just not like working together and people are just kind of going rogue. And I feel like Fellow can definitely help and try to build that, and try to build that discipline into the roster. But at the end of the day, it's still going to like come down to the players and whether they buy into it or whether they can play in that sort of setup. And I think that's the part that worries me the most, whether they can make improvements. And I feel like I'm not trying to call anybody out here. I'm not trying to be a dick, but one of those issues is probably Havoc. At least from an outside looking in, I feel like Havoc has always been one of those players that's very loose, and he likes to kind of like go rogue, and he likes to play. He plays pretty aggressive, but I feel like he's not one of those players that's super systemic. I don't think he ever has been. And I feel like if things continue to go south, that might be something they look at. But he is good at search, and I feel like that's like one of the main reasons why he's been around the pro league for a while. So we'll see how this team progresses.
Here's the issue, Chris, is like, and I think Vegas is. We'll get to them in a minute. I think you're figuring out is in the beginning of the season, people were really 2-3-5ing, 2-4-5, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
like series. I think it's much harder now that these more skilled teams have gotten so far ahead and respawn that you're never going to get a game 5 where you could say, oh, well, we're just an S&D team. Well, I mean, if you're going to lose 3-1 and win map 2, like, what does that actually get you,
Yeah, I mean, it's just something to note, man, because I mean, I've teamed with Havoc before, back in other games, and I've seen how he's played in the pro league and some of the teams that he's been on, and they haven't had very much success in respawn. I'm looking at like the Minnesota Rocker from Vanguard, right? They weren't a good respawn team whatsoever. So I feel like there's just kind of a trend following him around. And it's just kind of like, it just sticks out to me. So I don't know. I mean, obviously I don't know the team, but just something that I've noticed. So we'll see. But I do like the pickup of Fellow, and I think Cap has that explosive potential. And also Cap is really good at search, so it kind of follows their brand essentially.
Yep. Any final thoughts before we move on to the next one?
I feel like this team's gonna make another change after the next major or right before major 4. I don't feel like this team is done.
They got like 3 more changes in them, Pat. I think. What do you think? Over under 2.5?
I could see.
Like, are we talking about like changes as a whole, or are you counting each person as a change?
Any roster move, I'm counting as a change.
So like, if you drop 2 people at the same time, that counts as 2 or 1?
2. That counts as 2.
Okay, then yeah, I think they got over 2.
Yeah,
I'd go over 2.
I can maybe see that. We'll see what happens. Now Vickle finds himself on a bench. Major Maniac finds himself on a bench. Do you guys see any of those guys maybe getting on another team, or do you think they're going to have to maybe whittle their way through challenges?
I think they're going to be in challengers.
Yeah, Mike's in a tough spot. Getting back in the league in an AR position is really hard.
Or Mike was officially Mike was released, not sent to the bench.
So
he was released.
So, well, Vickle I can see getting back in if they continue to struggle respawn for sure.
All right, well, let's move. Go ahead, Pat.
I was gonna say, I think they got Ogre 2 changes left.
Oh, not bad, Pat. Not bad. I don't know if it's as good as your blow it up Rihanna thing, though. That was pretty. That was pretty funny. I think that was your 10. I think that was one of your best ones, to be honest.
Appreciate that, Tom.
Let's get into the next one. We got Vegas Legion coming up next. Now, I don't know if any of this stuff is official. A lot of it right now is just rumors, but I think we're all under the same page here that Vegas is probably going to change. I know Prolu took Vegas Legion out of his bio. I think TJ did the same thing. Rumor on the street is both Prolu and TJ Haley are gone from this roster. Have they leaked on who is potentially coming into the roster yet, or is that just knowledge that we know?
There's been rumors.
Oh, well, can we leak it to Pat? Because Pat doesn't know.
We put
There's
it in
been
the Flake
rumors of
chat.
certain players, and also if you're not a brick brain, you can just look at challengers teams and see that some of these players are gone and no longer playing in challengers for whatever reason.
Right.
And some of those players are Turiel is one in specific.
Mhm.
He's no longer obviously playing in challengers. So I think Kremp was still scrimming with Boston Academy, but he was the other rumored player. So he was scrimming today from what I know.
No way they pick up Turiel.
In terms of them picking up Turiel, I don't know where this is going to go because
way.
both times, so hear me out here. Both times he's played in challengers prior to being picked up, he played really well. But then when he got into the pro league, and even granted it was a different team, when he played at the pro-am with the team I was coaching, he didn't do particularly well. So I'm not sure if he's going to be able to, bring what what Vegas is lacking. But I mean, hey, if they believe in him, we'll see. We'll see how that
He
goes.
kicked up in challengers recently. I know
Yeah.
he did have a few rough games when he did get thrown in there, but sometimes it takes people a little bit longer to get going. But there are a lot of players in challengers that are looking to come up. So I think Turiel was a little bit of a surprise to some people just because he had that opportunity. But I'm happy for him that he grinded through challengers and worked his way back to another opportunity. But Ben, what do you think about this rumored Vegas bringing in Kremp and Turiel if it's happening?
If they get Kremp, I think that's a great pickup, but I'm skeptical because I've only heard it from
Kremp
one
is very
source.
good. He's a very good player.
I do think picking up Kremp is a good idea, but the thing that's like weird for me is like if you're gonna pick up Turiel, I feel like you should pick up Yuli, which was his sub duo,
Yeah.
because I usually am not a big fan of people picking up, like for example, like the fellow cap change. I'm not a big fan of picking up like two players that haven't played with each other if you're going to make like almost like a duo ship change, unless one of them is like obviously like outstanding and the other one is kind of mid.
But they've like teamed before and they kind of know each other.
Exactly. And I feel like when you get into the league, something that some people underestimate is the comfortability factor of playing with people that you've already played with. And I feel like for Turiel, that could definitely help him because he kind of was in the same situation last year where he kind of just like got put in the Florida Mutineers, and it was kind of, actually no, I think he did play with Major Maniac in Vanguard. That's when he got noticed, right, when they won one of the challenger events. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like they should have picked up Yuli. I think Yuli kind of got done dirty here. I think he's like the last remaining player on his team that didn't get picked up. And at least from my perspective, when I was coaching him and what I've seen, he's really good too. So I don't really understand how that, ended up happening.
Pat,
Yeah.
everything okay over there? Pat, having some camera issues?
I don't know. I made Pat's internet cut out, but
We might have lost him. We might have lost him, folks.
I think guys are in, all of our cams are messed up, but all good. Chris, here's my thoughts. I agree with you. I would have liked to have seen Yuli on this team, and we may still see it because I'm not convinced that they're gonna be able to get Kremp until I believe it. I think the Turiel thing's pretty set because it doesn't seem like he's playing challengers right now.
Yeah.
The only thing I'll say about this team, man, is I was going back and watching some VOD yesterday, and I went back and watched the Vegas series that they played, and they had pro running a trophy. So my hope is, regardless of the pickups here for Vegas, if I see either one of their sub players running a trophy over one of the AR players on Vegas running that silence, I think we're gonna have some
Bro,
again.
if I see another trophy sub, especially on a new player coming in, I think like they're just getting set up for failure. But sorry, what was it? I was actually going to say something.
Well, we
My
do got
brain's not
Pat
clicking. Go
back in
ahead,
biz.
sorry.
Pat, you bringing the webcam back on?
Yeah, my computer got the blue screen of death.
No worry, Pat. No worries at all. Do what you got to do. I wanted to get your thoughts because I know you were talking a little bit about Turiel. You were making some comments.
I had something coming up for you, but then I got smoked.
Oh,
the
well,
window shades.
Yes.
while you get your
Got
your
EMP'd.
cam and stuff set up again, I actually remember what I was gonna say. So so we were just talking about how I feel like Yuli should be on this team, right? Just because he's familiar. If they're fully intentional on picking up Turiel here. Funny thing is, Nagafin's not coaching challengers anymore.
Interesting.
He's not coaching a team.
Yep.
Why not?
So
this.
you gotta think he's probably on the move. And
You
if
gotta
I'm
think.
gonna expect where he's gonna go, it's probably gonna be on Vegas here. So once again, I feel like you
Interesting.
bring in two people that already played together, that have played well, and you bring in somebody that's obviously been coaching them. Like I feel like you're good. I feel like you're setting them up to get better results and to be way more comfortable in the situation than if you bring in just like you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I see what you're
Like
saying.
I feel like I just feel like it doesn't make sense. As much as I want to see Kremp, play in the league, I just don't know if this is the spot where he should be landing. I think Yuli would definitely be a better pickup here, in my opinion.
I'll be straight up, Chris. I mean, the other part to this too is regardless of the sub moves you're making, right? Kremp or Yuli or Tyrell or whatever, like on the Clay and Donnie side, like they've also got stuff they need to figure out as players. Because again, what we just talked about with Florida is regardless of what floor they're going to have here, the team is not going to be as talented as some other squads. They need to continue to be elite in search. They need to get better at respawn. They're the worst control team in the game. Their hard point was not that great outside of Mercado in stage 2. They need to figure out how to get ahead, innovate. I love bringing in Nagafin. He's a very smart Call of Duty mind, really innovative, and try and get an advantage on some of these squads. Find your map pull, find your bread and butters, and find a path forward to get like a top 6 or a top
I think
4
though
squad.
at the end of the day, Ben, I see this is like I always have this argument with Pat. It's like not everyone's going to be a winner, and I think whenever you're kind of grasping at straws here, you got to try to always take the LAG, the Boston Breach route, where you kind of like see who you can get people together, see how they do, and improve later in the season, if not in the next season. And I think at the end of the day, as much as I like the players on the team, they probably won't crack that ceiling that floor, I guess, that we want to see some of these teams crack. And they just got to go with what they can and see how they do, and then like find these desirable players, find these low-key players, these stars, and then try to make moves later or in the offseason. I think that's a route that Florida needs to take, Vegas needs to take. We already see LAG trying to take it. Just some of these bottom end teams, they need to find something they can hold on to, because if they end up like continuously failing and putting together these shitty rosters, these teams aren't going to have anything to like grasp onto in the offseason at all.
No, Chris, the only thing I'll say is I don't think we're disagreeing. Like I agree with you. Like they've got to like, the Vegas and Paris org has had zero plan now for legitimately since the beginning of the CDL. They've been an irrelevant franchise. Let's be straight up. But to my point is like while you're doing that project, what Boston did is they developed the system, right? They ended up getting, especially I think the key piece for them building that system last year was getting Reese Vivida and having a really good aggressive sub duo, and they improved at that second AR position by bringing a big wake, and now they're really on that path of Beans coming in. I want to see the same from Vegas. And again, this is not just about getting new sub duos in. Clay and Donnie to pitch in and build that culture. This cannot be a team where people are just trying to play for themselves, get enough kills, get enough KD that they stay on the team, they keep collecting a check, they can pay the bills. If they want to be a good team in the CDL and have people actually rate the squad, they've got to actually work on their teamwork, which in Respawn outside of Mercado is a little sketchy.
I mean, look, I got something on the screen, but like, I don't know if Clay's picking up too real. I feel like
what?
Yeah, who's the baby in the back?
One of my roommates.
Oh, okay. Damn, you rooming with like a 3-year-old? Anyway,
he's got a kid, bro. It's over. I'll tell you.
I feel like it's Clay's like final year for sure. I don't hate dropping I don't hate dropping TJ and Proloot, but I think they could do a lot better than that. I agree with you guys about Kremp. I think Kremp is like if you can get that guy, you go all out to get that guy. If I'm Clay, I might forfeit a little bit of salary if I have to help facilitate a buyout.
Damn, you're forfeiting the minimum guarantee. The minimum.
Is that what Clay's on? Do we know for sure?
Oh, I don't know. I just thought everybody on Vegas was on the minimum.
I doubt Clay and Don are on the minimum on that team. That'd be insane.
But all I'm saying is I think like if I'm Clay, and I mean I guess Don too, like they clearly both know they're in a position where they're probably not getting on another org, so they're stuck in where they're at. To me, it's their only chance to get out of this 9 through 12 kind of just set that they're going to be in the rest of the year. I think Kremp is someone that could help them. I don't know how many other challenger players that could actually move that needle, but I don't think Two Real's it. But yeah, if I'm them, if it's Clay's likely last year, then I'm trying to do anything I can to get a squad that's decent. And I don't think I don't think Too Real is the play here.
If you're wondering why they're making roster changes, sorry, Tom, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Good.
I want to just give this information, and Tom, you can fill in, just so you understand their schedule, because they actually probably have the hardest schedule of any CDL team coming up. They have to play Thieves, Toronto, Atlanta FaZe, Minnesota Rocker, and then they finally get a more winnable match in LAG. So, Tom, curious your thoughts concerning all of that context.
Well, I like the pickups. I mean, Too Real's been playing better. For me, Kremp is like that main guy. And Chris, I know you were saying that you don't think it was a good place for him, but I don't know if Kremp really had any other options. And if you're Kremp, right? Of
course. I mean, like,
I mean, I was gonna ask you if you are Kremp, do you take it? Do you take that? Personally, I would take it.
Yes.
But I know players in the past have decided to not take an opportunity like that and kind of gamble on themselves and continue to play out through challengers. Do you think Kremp made the right decision?
It's different though. It's not like the Paris that couldn't it's not like the Vegas Legion or Paris Legion from before that couldn't win a series. Like, these guys do look competitive at times. They haven't been able to pull anything out. They had a good run at the first event, but these guys aren't not competitive by any stretch of the imagination. They're still putting up fights. So maybe he feels like he can be the difference maker. It's not the same as the old Paris Legion, where those guys literally were just chalked. Like, it's not the same at all.
Yeah, well, they got a good pickup, because Kremp, in my opinion, was probably Boston Breach's best player, or at least one of his best players. Him and Beans are probably what you would say top two.
Yeah, him and
Ben
Beans
are probably top two. I think Ben was probably playing a little more impactful than him, but Kremp has been really good for them, and I want to see him in the CDL.
But I miss when you guys were talking about Naga. That's when my computer crashed. Did you say Naga is moving from coaching to playing, or moving from coaching to another coaching role?
He's not coaching in challengers anymore. So unless he just had some emergency or just decided not to coach anymore, he's probably coaching a pro team.
But his whole team got dissected, no?
Yeah, but I mean, but at the same time, like, if he was coaching, he would just coach another team, or he would coach whatever Yuli's putting together, because he's still playing challengers.
Wasn't he not coaching before this team? So could he not have just coached this team?
He coached this entire year.
But that team, right? He didn't coach last year.
It was a mix of teams. It was a completely different team. It was whatever Fellow was playing with.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm asking is, like, Fellow going to the league, just like saying him just throwing in the towel and being like, I'm not going to coach anymore.
I doubt it. If he just won, if he was obviously on a team that won, maybe he obviously continues it. He's got an accolade under his belt now.
Who does he coach in the CDL? Paris replaced Theory?
I don't know about replacing.
Either replacing or maybe joining him.
He could be on the move somewhere. I'm just putting the pieces together and saying it's probably going to be that team, just because Too Real went there.
Well, the reason I would say it's. Oh, you're saying Florida?
It's either. Yeah. It's either or.
If I take a guess, he's going to be
Vegas.
He's going to be joining Vegas as an assistant coach. If I take a guess on situation.
Bro, I'm not trying to leak anything.
The problem with that guess is, didn't they have Mike Apox as an assistant coach and paid him nothing?
Okay, no. So that apparently, like, that's something that he wanted to do, like Mike Apox wanted to do, but they obviously told him, like, yo, we can't fucking pay you for it. And then he was like fine with it.
They're paying Jared this year?
I don't know. But I mean, you gotta hope so.
Yeah, I'm not really too sure what's going on with Nagafin, but Chris putting the pieces together, no longer coaching in challengers. Not really too sure what his next step is. I haven't seen McGee or anybody tweet anything, like Theory or anybody from the coaching staff really say anything. So maybe he'll be joining them. Maybe
he's either there or Florida. Like, he's gonna be with
it's interesting to me because Vegas has never been that team in the past to just sign extra people and put extra people on the payroll. Yeah. It's in the past they have been trying to pay the least amount of people as possible. Yeah, exactly. Take them off the payroll, or pay as less as possible. So for me, it gets a little complicated. We'll see what happens if Nagafin gets in there and gets in that camp. I think that's super good for him. It's cool to see Naga back in action. Naga's had a lot of good moments in the pro league. So
real quick, just to touch on some things that I see in the chat, a lot of people are like, "Oh, what about Abuza, Mohawk, blah blah blah, fucking even
a lot of players."
Con. There's a lot of players that are good. And there's a lot of players that can definitely get in the league or could be in the league. But at the same time, there's a lot of these players that have barriers. For example, Diamond Con, he's in Canada. He needs a visa. teams are not getting that. Like, it's just not happening. Abuza, same thing would happen. Need a visa. Even Mohawk, need a visa. All these people that you guys are mentioning are just people that are literally not from the U.S., so they're fucked.
Would it benefit them to apply for a visa now? Like, should they get a visa?
I mean, bro, that shit's expensive as fuck. And
How is it? How expensive is it to get a visa? I even know.
A lot of those players can't fucking afford it, like, to take a risk. So, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's probably difficult.
It depends on if you go into expedited petition. Like, it's a 4-figure number, Tom.
Okay, I didn't know. I've never done that. I had no idea.
At minimum, by the way.
Yeah, and it's also a lengthy process. So at the speed that some of these teams are making changes, it's just not something that is viable for any of these players.
That sucks for them. That sucks.
You gotta think though, like TJ and Prelude are getting dropped, right? In this scenario.
The rumor. Yeah, it's a rumor.
So those guys got dropped because they wouldn't just leave their parents' crib and room together in Texas and get some wins under their belt.
Oh, and those new players are probably not going to do the same thing either. So
I don't think internet's the reason why this team wasn't winning matches, although it would help. And I do know, by the way, that supposedly Temp's going to play either some or all of his matches from the Atlanta FaZe facility. So they are trying some things to try and improve their online situation.
But either way, they didn't even try to improve their situation. That we not only we called out, but they called out. Yeah, because if they're getting dropped now, yeah, I think we should circle back to this. Like, we were literally calling it out that, like, they couldn't get online wins because
in
they're
the chat and says, by the way, that he was down to move. So go ahead. I don't know your thoughts on that is.
Win because they didn't move. I'm confused. Was his teammates telling him not to?
No, he probably. I mean, he just the other party here that was probably in the situation, and Prelude's not going to move alone. It's probably a little bit more. It's probably more expensive. Like,
I don't know. I'm feeling. Chris, you moved alone just to play challengers. I'm feeling some.
Yeah,
super
but I'm also
here,
getting.
Bro.
Yeah, but listen, bro. I'm also employed by fucking
and
gorgeous
he's
Thomas
employed
ZooMaa
by
over
Vegas.
here, and bro.
I know how much you make on both the flank and the reverse sweep, bro.
Yeah,
he makes more.
Also, and my stream.
Okay, he makes more.
I'm not trying to like fly anything, but no, I make more than the minimum. Currently, right now, at this very moment, I make more than minimum a month.
Maybe with your stream, but exactly. I know they make more between the two podcasts. So either way,
yes, I agree with you.
So either way, I don't understand. If they were serious about it, they both should have moved when the season started. Period. Like,
I mean, I agree with you. I agree.
Now they're in a position where they're getting dropped. Like, you should have moved.
But don't compare that shit to me, bro. It's not the same.
Yeah, I think moving would have helped them for sure.
You said Prelude didn't want to move alone. I'm like, what, dude? You just moved alone to Texas to play challengers. If a fucking pro
I'm also with roommates and paying cheaper rent. I'm not living alone, bro.
You could have roomed out with Prelude. It's the same shit.
Who's moving? Bro, what are you talking about, bro?
My point is, if you care and if it matters to you, there's not an excuse like that can be made. Period.
Well, I mean, yeah, you'll find a way.
Prelude could have been like, "Yo, Chris, you wanna? I'm thinking about moving to Texas and getting a play. You wanna room with me? Then you could have went there."
Well, let's move on, guys. Let's move on from the Vegas Legion. No, I understand. I get it.
You should have been proactive. I don't think anyone can feel bad for you now.
Let's move on to the next topic. That's going to be all the roster changes that have happened so far. To my understanding, everybody else is staying the same. So it's those 4 teams, unless anybody has anything that I don't know about or any rumor that I don't know about. But as far as I know, that was everything, right, Ben?
Yeah.
Was that everything?
LAG, Seattle, London are all sticking. Those would be like the next set of
teams. I like the people on London. I still don't understand why those guys are sticking. And
Neither do I.
If they're sticking, it tells me that their options that they wanted either cannot get there right now. They can't get them right now, or they just I don't know. Like, I don't understand, because those guys are not very good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on in the London camp. I don't know if some of the players are trying to make moves over there or what the organization's thinking, but it's been very, very quiet. And after talking to some guys over there too, seems like they're not in a position where they can make a change right now. At least that's from my understanding. But for the players, I feel like there's not really much they can do other than just play. But I'm surprised. I think they should have changed for sure.
Wait, also in terms of like people like Illy, Illy again, he has a barrier. He needs to be bought out. He is still signed to the roster.
Yeah.
So we already talked about how some of these barriers are impacting the lower teams. Like, they don't want to pay these buyouts. They don't want to get these visas. Yeah. They don't want to do all sorts of stuff. So getting these players is damn near impossible.
And if you're Illy, it might be a good play for him to wait. I don't know what his contract is like with him sitting on the sideline, but he might be collecting a little payday every month.
Probably cooling.
It's not about the cash. You should wait because better options.
Well, it is about the cash too, though. I mean, players think about this.
Y'all remember when Chris was saying Dashy should be in challengers?
I never said Dashy should be in challengers. I said if Dashy has nothing else to do, he should play challengers. And if Illy, and once again, if Illy has nothing else to do, he should play. Because there's no point in not playing. There is no point in not playing.
MVP.
You're an idiot, dude. Like, don't put words in my mouth.
Guy was literally the MVP.
Don't put words in my mouth,
Go ahead,
bro.
Ben. Go ahead.
Was that guy.
It's a horrible take, Pat. I think to what Chris and I were saying, we were talking about the Bruce situation. It's like, you got free time, go scrim with the team, stay up with the men, or play against people. And when I interviewed Bruce, I asked him, like, if you're not going to play Elite or play the Cups, like, are you down to just, after the roster meeting, after Elite, just play with the team and go to Boston and play? And he was down. Obviously, he got picked up before that, so that never happened. But
listen, when you're that guy, bro, you sit back and you wait for someone to realize your worth. It took Optic all of 2 days to be like, damn, that guy is gross.
I wouldn't be surprised, regardless, though, if let's say Optic didn't go back and pick him up. Bro, nobody is paying what that guy's worth.
It's just his buyout's
so what is
crazy.
he gonna do? Fucking marinate in his chair and do nothing?
Absolutely,
No.
and then sign the absolute bag when the contract ends in 4 months.
I'm just saying, bro. I'd rather do something than nothing, and that's always gonna be my mentality.
Well, let's move on into the skill divisions ranked play. We got some announcements today, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Check this out: bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, crimson. Iridescent, is that how you say it, Ben?
That's not what I see, Tom.
Yeah.
Are you reading the same thing?
Top 250. I think so, Slay. I think
I see Slytherin.
That's what I tweeted.
Well, you can
Baltimore.
change those. You can upgrade. You can change those.
There's like skill divisions and there's like rank within skill divisions. Basically, Pat, the way it works is like everybody's gonna start in bronze. There's no placement games, by the way. Everybody's starting in bronze, and then
I don't mind that.
Within the divisions, there's like ranks, and that's how you unlock like the season exclusive skins and all that other stuff. And then like the emblem changes. There's like different animals. Like
why did they go with a snake, bro? Like, did they just fully embrace the fact that like pros are snaking, bro?
I guess.
Like,
I guess Chris.
they literally just fucking the league was inspired by Cell, bro. Like they just fully fucking we got no slide cancel anymore. Your only movement mechanic is snaking, bro. Here it is.
So Ben, how does it work? How do you get the other emblems? How do you? So I think it's a ranking system by stars, right? Everybody starts in bronze.
No. I got you, Tom.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris. Can you spit it on how it works? Go ahead.
At least in terms of your skill divisions, it's purely off SR. And then on top of that, I don't think you have the graphic for it, but there are just ranks. So there's like a normal XP rank where if you win a game, you get stars. And every time you get stars, you get all the way up to level 40, 50, something like that. And that's just your base rank. So it's like your pub rank, but like for rank play. Right. And then, so what you're looking at now is purely off your SR. So if you win games, you perform well, you get points.
Was that not Cold War's system? Didn't Cold War have that basically the same thing?
No. So this is like a mix. It's like a mixture of the systems. It's like a mixture of the ELO system on top of like.
It's just Vanguard plus Cold War. That's what it is.
I think so. Something like that. But I mean, it looks fine as long as there's the SR system. I don't care. Like it's purely and on top of that, apparently your SR is also not only your wins and loss, but how you perform. So if you overperform and you absolutely fry plus win, you're gonna get a lot more points. If you lose but play well, you won't lose as much. So
I mean, look, it's cool. It's an improvement for sure.
Man. It's cool.
But it ain't no X Defiant rank. That's all I know. That's all I know, Tom.
Well, here comes Slay again.
That's all I know, Tom.
Pat, where do you think Ben's gonna end up on this list? What skill division do you think he's gonna end up?
I think I'm looking at Ben as a platinum.
Not bad.
A platinum 37. That's what I'm gonna go for Ben at the end of the season.
Bro, honestly, all right, here's the thing. We know how Ben loves MC. If he's queuing up with MC, he might make iridescent. But if he's queuing up with like Soap and like Z and fucking Adam, like I think that's a solid gold.
First off, if I play with those guys, I'm gonna lose full because no comp. I'll accept the hard carry.
My bad, Adam. Jesus.
I'll accept the hard. But they're playing Valorant right now, so I don't think they're watching the show.
Don't snitch. No snitches. No snitches.
But we'll see. We'll see where I end up at ranked. I'm just hoping on Wednesday that it launches no issues, right? Because I really want to play it, but I'm hoping.
Ben, what's the highest rank you think you can get this season? If I like put you to the task And I said you couldn't play with a pro. What's the highest rank you could get, you think?
I don't know. Let's see.
We're about to find out.
Christ.
I'd be down to doing a ball challenge V2 for season 1
We
of
might
rank
have to
play.
get a
We're not-
bet
we're-
going.
I did one ball challenge. No more ball challenges, Pat.
Speaking of, Ben, you have hella hair on your head right now. What's going on?
I'm getting it shaved on the 26th. It's gonna be live on stream.
26. Okay.
We're gonna be in Atlanta. Tom
You
and
have
I
a
are gonna be
time?
there. Probably in the morning.
Okay. I'll make sure to set my
we're-
alarm.
Don't worry, guys. Ben will be bald soon. Don't you worry. But I want to
Tom-
tune into this clip. Go ahead, Pat. What's up?
I was gonna say, make sure you get him a razor too after MC buzzes it.
Of course, of course. It's got to be
nice
clean. It's got to
razor.
be nice and
Yeah,
clean.
yeah.
You know, nice and smooth. But let's get up into this clip.
Here we go.
Doug Samar had some choice words. I want to get Pat, Chris, and Ben's thoughts. Let's tune in. It's a 1-minute clip, and then we'll go back.
Clip is heinous.
Teammates, that's all we fucking are. That's all we fucking are.
I got a 2-piece at their dick, and then
The second he said this, the only thought in my head was, I'm gonna be petty as fuck. Fuck this guy. I don't give a fuck that you won the ring this year. I was better than you this year. My team was better than you. And the only reason you won it is because you didn't play my team, because we pre-scrimmed Optic for a week and we taught them how to play COD and then they beat us. So you're welcome for your ring. I was way better than you on this game. And every time I played you, I showed it. I statistically showed it. I beat you every time. And then I picked you up and I won with you.
Dude.
So your whole legacy stemmed from me scrimming against Optic on that game. Your back-to-back world championship, right? So in my head, when he said this shit, I got petty as fuck. I was like, you know what?
David was
Jay,
nice
thank you
at
for the 30
Ghost
months.
Chat.
I was
He
like,
was
you know
nice
what? I
at
literally
Ghost.
owned you all year, and I'm teaming with you now. And you know what? If you have this opinion on me, I'm gonna win a championship with you and look at your face when it happens. That's the only thought that I.
Alrighty, that's going to do it for the clip. Pat, let's go to your initial thoughts. Is Doug spitting, or is he completely wrong here? What do you think? Because in my opinion, I don't.
I must be misremembering. I could have sworn Damon joined my complexity team in Ghost. Am I wrong?
He did, and you guys were nice, and Damon was very good.
Pat, do you want to let them know how you finished the champs that year?
Yeah, I had like a 1.35, a 1.6 KD in domination, a 1.2 KD in S&D, first place. I think I dropped 3 maps. They were in like group play. I don't remember seeing Doug that weekend. He was out pretty early. Look, at the end of the day, Doug made the classic mistake of scrimming teams that he was better than going into champs. That's the one thing you never do at least in the old champ style. You never did that. That was the dumbest thing ever. Yeah, they absolutely made Optic better. Doug's team was a better team than Optic going into that tournament. And yeah, they let Optic finesse them. Optic scrimmed them in a boot camp, got better. Doug's team got worse. But Doug's team could have played anybody. There was 0% chance Doug was beating my team or Damon that weekend.
Didn't they lose to it might have been, was it Envy where they like
they got
collective
the
0-6
the quad
like,
goose. The quad
goose.
Yeah, they got
Yeah, it
quad
didn't even
goose.
matter, bro. They lost to the people who got second place.
I think Apathy got 2 kills round 6, and they didn't get quad goosed. They were quad goosed at 5-0, and then App got 2 kills. But yeah, then they ended.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't think it would have mattered. I think that
they
take
went out
is
sad.
faded, bro.
They went out sad. But yeah, Doug's a little off the papaya for that one. I think he's letting the Full Sail North American qualifiers tournament with 0 prize pool go to his head a little bit. I know he got a little trophy there. But yeah, there was no chance Doug was beating my team that weekend.
Ben,
Doug
Chris,
is
any
fried,
final
bro.
thoughts? He's fried.
Doug was fried, bro. Like, come on.
Might have
bro.
been a
You
little
can't
fried.
let alone Damon was great. He obviously deserved that world championship ring, but bro, like you can't even forget about Pat and Teep and Krim, bro. Those guys literally absolutely world starred that tournament. If anyone was gonna beat those guys, it was the Optic. It was the Optic camp because that was a pretty close series. But
And he's on a main AR now. I know he's switching over. Obviously, Beans got picked up. Krem potentially getting picked up. So Doug's team slowly dwindling down. And I heard he switched roles as well. So we'll see how that plays out for him. We're going to be tuning in. Ben, any thoughts?
I mean, I'm gonna let sort of people that played that year, played against Doug, give their thoughts on that clip. But in terms of where Doug's at right now, yeah, I mean, big overhaul on his team. Obviously, if Krep moves on to Vegas, they're gonna have replaced 2 different people on that squad. and it's just him and Shawnee left. So I'm really curious to see what they do. And candidly, Boston Academy just hasn't been that good this year.
Sorry, I'm confused. He's running a main AR or a flex?
Probably a flex. Like he'll probably if he
guess
runs a
it's a
third
flex.
sub, it'll be yeah, because Shawnee's not doing that. Wait, to Doug's credit, at least when I played him in 8s, he did look better statistically.
I mean, that makes sense.
I actually don't mind this move for Doug.
It might make him better. It might make him better because he can slow it down a little bit, pick his positioning. Go ahead, Pat.
Well, y'all remember Doug and I teamed with Doug in the beginning of AW when it was 8 bows. Like I think Doug does better when he's not running a role that like he like thinks in his head he has to be so OBJ focused that he just gets world starred.
He overthinks it sometimes.
Yeah, I think he tries to do too much on the map. So I actually don't mind him running like a flex type role where he can just try and play for kills because I think he'll do much better.
Wait, one thing that gets interesting is if supposedly Kremp leaves the team, that leaves a hole for the SMG, so they can take the 2 routes here. Doug can go back to sub, and they pick up an AR.
Yeah, it depends who they pick up.
Or Doug keeps an AR and they pick up a sub. So I'm interested to see where my boy Doug ends up running and how that team pans out if the rumors are true. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll
I
see.
mean, I mean, I'll be straight up. Like, I want to see this Boston Academy team do something in challengers because so far this year they've been essentially a non-factor. So
Oh, they got like a bunch of force. Am I wrong?
No, they've got online they've had like a good showing, but in the 2 major events they went to, I think they got back-to-back top 16s, I believe.
That's not terrible though. I mean, it could be worse. You could get like
you
top
could get
48.
top 48.
like I said, they've been a non-factor. So it's not to discredit being a decent place in challengers. They just haven't been in the mix. Some of the top teams in the world.
All right, well, listen, guys.
What's funny about that?
That's gonna.
I'm talking about the top 48, bro. Like this guy fucking Aches is annoying.
Well, listen, guys, that's gonna do it for us. We got through everything today. We actually got matches coming up, starting back up during the weekend. So you already know we'll get right back into the watch parties, right back into the shows. We got a lot of gameplay to coming up.
We can do predictions for those Friday matches if you want.
Yeah, I'm down to do predictions, Ben. Why don't you link them in my chat? Why don't you or maybe Kyle League tweeted them or something?
Nah, you can pull up the website right there. Because I don't think Kyle League will tweet it out until Wednesday, Thursday. Obviously, there was a weird. I mean, we can kind of discuss this, which was Seattle Surge tweeted out like a preheat like hero matches graphic, and it had youtube.com/COD League on it, and then they deleted it and posted a new one.
I saw that.
And then one of them replied and said that their designer used like an old graphic. So a lot of confusion based on that, whether or not we're going to YouTube or Twitch. My assumption is that if we're going to YouTube, I'm hoping that the owners have kind of at least pushed that back a while. I think for Optic, they'd very much want that to not be this major. I think next major.
Hope not.
I think next major they may be okay with it, but for now, they'd want on Twitch. So we'll see. There's going to be an announcement on what platform we're on. It's going to be in the next what?
Bro, I am begging.
They're making an announcement, bro. Then we're going to YouTube. Why would
I am begging.
It said if.
I am begging at the very least, if we go back to YouTube, it's next season, because not only is YouTube just going to stunt the growth, but switching platforms mid-season
makes
chalk
no sense.
it up, bro. People aren't even going to know the streams live. Like everyone's gonna be waiting for the Twitch notification, bro. There's definitely a lot of people that watch that don't like use social media like that. I guarantee it.
Yeah, we'll play that one by ear. We'll see what happens there. But let's get into predictions. We can speed run these. We got LA Thieves Vegas. I got the Thieves 3-1. We got Minnesota Rocker going up against the New York Subliners. I think New York's gonna come out and get back on their bullshit, man. I'm gonna go with New York 3-2.
You just skipped the first match.
What do you mean? I said LA Thieves Vegas. I said LA Thieves are going 3-1. What do you mean?
Holy shit, that was quick.
I'm saying, are you going down and doing all three?
Yeah, I said we're gonna speed run them. I said we're gonna go one by one and speed run them. New York, I got 3-2, and then we got Toronto Ultra going up against the Boston Breach. I'm gonna go with interesting. I'm gonna go with a honeymoon stage Boston Breach. I think they're gonna come out. They're gonna want to get that dub, a new look to their team. I think they're gonna have that energy coming out on Friday. So I'm gonna go Boston Breach 3-2. So I got LA Thieves, New York, and Boston. Pat, who do you got?
Thieves, New York Ultra.
Chris?
I got Thieves, New York, and Ultra as well. I just don't see Boston being able to start hot against a traditionally at least good online Ultra team.
Okay, and who do you got, Ben?
You got Thieves, New York, and a Boston team with the honeymoon with. We're going to see a nice Beans interview after that series.
I like that. Benjay, why don't you sink the putt and sink us out of here, bro? Go do what you do, man. Let's see if Benjay can sink the putt. Chris, Pat, what do you got here? You think he's going to hit this or what?
Wide left. Wide left.
I think he got shook with the rank play announcement, and he's definitely missing.
Let's drag it around town. Let's see what's going on here. Benjay's gonna step up to the plate, and he's gonna. Oh no, it's coming back down.
He whiffed so fucking hard.
Jesus.
He whiffed so fucking bad.
It's coming back down.
That wasn't even close.
Benjay is seeing.
Is that ball still in his apartment?
That was his worst putt.
That might have went out the window.
He misses it again. He misses it again, I think. Or did he hit
again?
Did he whip
No,
again?
he hit the second one. He hit the second one.
You are, bro. Did rank play?
Bro, what
Did the
happened,
rank play
Ben?
announcement get you that shook?
Nah, it's a warm-up putt for the weekend, bro.
Oh, man, bro. This guy better get.
I pushed it. I knew instantly after I hit it wasn't good.
Oh, no. Benjay missing the
my
putt.
guy, you're muted. I see the lips moving, but I don't hear you.
Benjay missing the putt. I can't believe it. Yeah, they heard me on stream. I was messing around with his cam. But Ben, what happened, bro? What happened to the putt?
I just talked about it. I said that I pushed the putt. It happens.
My bad, bro. I was muted. I was just asking again, bro. Listen, that's unacceptable, bro. You got to bounce back for the weekend, bro. We can't have any missed putts from Friday to Sunday. Deal?
I'll try my best. Yeah.
Hey, where's the Slayer? You never talked like this, Slayer. Never. Before an event, if I say, are you gonna win or lose? Are you gonna do this? Are you gonna do that? What would you say?
Absolutely not. Yeah, I would say absolutely. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna win.
Bro, where's the confidence from Benji and his team? Hey, man, I think this guy needs to go bald to get his confidence back. I think that's what it is. Stay tuned for that at the end of February.
See that.
We're going to be doing that live on stream. I'm sure Ben's going to be live, and we're going to be shaving his head. So make sure to stay tuned. We're going to watch some COD this weekend. We're going to have some fun. I'm gonna get into the shows, man. I'm excited to see some of these new guys get into the game and start seeing what they can do. But
are all the roster moves confirmed? Like Paris, can Vegas still make a move?
Yep,
Vegas.
Friday? Yep, Vegas can still make a move. Nothing's confirmed yet.
Whoa. So I think roster lock.
Oh my god, I got hiccups.
This week I think was today. Usually it's on Mondays. So unless that's changed now.
So if Vegas hasn't made a move, they're sticking.
Yeah, but they could have made a move and they're not going to announce it until like Friday morning. Like they
gotcha. Okay,
like that. So we'll have to see. Classic Vegas. Like don't expect some crazy build-up announce. They're making roster changes. I guess we'll find out later in the week what's going on there.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next. Catch us next time on another episode of The Flank. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure to go to anchor.fm/theflank to check out all the audio sites that we're on. And make sure to go follow @theflank on Twitter. Gert's doing a phenomenal job at running socials, so make sure to go show him some love. Do what you do. As always, man, take care, brush your hair, and we'll see you guys in the next one in another episode of The Flank, man. Good night.
Peace.